We are off to the Otway National Park, absolutely beautiful area.
I'm so excited. I can't wait to see them in the wild. I hope I get to hold one.
Oh, what a cutie.
I blew it. Perfect.
Lower him down. You see the light? There he goes.
When you think of the most iconic animals of Australia, there are a few that come to mind straight away. And for many people, the koala is right at the top of that list. And it's not hard to see why. But what do we really know about the koala and its habitat, and what does their future hold?
There's sort of an innate response that humans have for koalas. It brings out an emotional side of them where they want to care for these animals. And that's reflected in our community's concern for the fate of the koala, not only just from Australians, but internationally as well. Because our koalas are in trouble, so we really need to do something about making sure that they survive and they can live alongside us.
Across Australia, they are listed as a vulnerable species, and in some regions, they have already become extinct. For the koalas and the habitat in this area, this threat became very real very quickly just last year. I'm walking through what was once a beautiful patch of Manigum forest. This eerie landscape that you now see is the result of too many koalas. They've basically eaten the trees to death. This is why it's so critical that we understand not only the koala, but also its relationship with the habitat.
This is the 11th trip to this site with Earthwatch, and in that time we've seen the koala population here sort of grow to a significant peak and then decline. So your task is to join us in that exploration of what's happening in this landscape. You'll see that there are significant issues in terms of how the koala populations are managed nationally when you've got parts of a range of animals where they're super abundant, as happens in Victoria and Southern Australia, and in other areas where they are at best sparse and populations that are contracting in most of the animals range that's in Northern Australia, in Queensland and New South Wales.
I first became interested in koalas when I managed the koala program on Kangaroo Island. Hello, my darling boy. And the aim of that program was to try to save areas of manigum, because it's manigum that koalas really like to feed on, and they basically will strip trees, kill the trees, and eventually starve themselves. When I moved to Victoria, same issues with overabundant koalas. They were only introduced here in the 1980s from French Island, one of our founder populations, and I think because they were released here in Manigum with no main threats like fire or predation by dingoes or anything like that, that numbers have just been allowed to increase unchecked. So we've really seen the population increase and then the habitat condition decrease quite rapidly. Last year it actually was quite upsetting to see trees just get completely stripped of their leaves and see koalas have to try to search for more food. The difficulty is watching an entire ecosystem collapse, and you think about everything else that's using those woodlands. We've lost an ecosystem. We don't even know what we've lost. We started putting lots of collars on trees to try to save at least some trees. The government stepped in and did what they called a welfare intervention. So they were catching koalas and euthanasing any that were in poor condition. And I don't know the exact numbers, but it was in the hundreds. It was pitiful. It really was. It was very difficult to observe. It's interesting this year to see the recovery of the trees. and I want to thank you people for giving up your time to come here and help us in the monitoring of that.
One of the good things about Earthwatch is that they bring to you a team of people who will run your field programs. They're one of the very few organisations that can support long-term ecological research studies. The other side of it is you get people from just about every continent, and they can take our message back to the rest of the world. We're going to be searching systematically backwards and forwards this way, and then heading to the south, looking for koalas and trees. When you find a koala, the first thing we're going to do is to GPS the location of the tree.
We run them through the training, and then with a little bit of help to start with, they're then out being able to monitor tree condition for us. So we collect a lot of data that would take me personally a long time to collect.
Great, it's 445.
Okay, 445, thanks, Dory.
It's more than just my pair of eyes looking. It's a whole group of people, and we can get some surveys done very quickly.
So I can't see the ear tag. So just write no ear tag.
No ear tag, right? I'm learning everything about koalas. I mean, I'd seen them before in real life, but I really didn't know much, and that's what's so much fun about coming on an Earthwatch, is that you not only see them, but you learn what they're all about, their whole ecology. And that's so much more interesting than just looking at an animal and saying, oh, isn't he cute?
Ah yes, she has a baby.
Everybody has different capabilities, but also different expertise. So they bring to us some of their knowledge. Some of them are geologists, some are ecologists, some are teachers, some are communicators. It's a collaborative effort.
I love it. The people are great. The Earthwatch PIs are fabulous. Couldn't ask for more.
So how many koalas have you got now, Cass?
We have 8.
See, I think they've got about 12, so we're at 20, which is really good.
Yep.
So hopefully we'll get 5, maybe collared by the end of the day. So
Today we're going to catch.
yeah, including one with the joey.
Well, that might get some people excited. Oh, but you're the ones who are doing the surveys over in the other area, so you won't get to be part of that. Wow. We believe in sarcasm in Australia.
Yeah, it's okay.
So you've got to listen carefully and think,
Yeah, we can understand that.
yeah.
Okay, stop for a sec, stop. Oh, I mean the koala, not you. She's just feisty. And that's the way we catch a koala. Get that edge. To see that smile on somebody's face as they get to help with the catch.
Good work.
When they are recording the data and they suddenly start understanding what our research is about.
She is.
That's a real thrill, I think. These are proximity collars. They're a new style of collar that I haven't used before, but I'm really excited about using them for these animals here because we don't know much about the social structure of the population. What they'll do is when the animals get close to each other, these will record the identity of the other koala's collar. And it will tell us the time that they first came into contact, and then it'll tell us the time that they separated. Definitely do not want it too tight, but I also don't want it so loose that she hangs herself or that she, gets a caught. So I'm going to do this. Okay, and you just have to go for it. Don't put your finger in front of her nose. No, lift it yet. Did you get it? Beautiful. I'm going to score her an 8 out of 10 on condition because she's got a really good muscle tone. You start seeing what you do through somebody else's eyes. For me, that's just absolutely brilliant. Can you come and be my forever assistant? And then I also get that reward of seeing them get so much more enthusiastic for wildlife, and so it's a real personal reward.
Good work. So you'll see koalas in all sorts of poses, maybe some similar to how I'm sitting here in this fork, and you'll see them lounge over the trunk like this. And it's actually a way for them to regulate their temperature. So this trunk is beautiful and cool. So on a hot day, this is how a koala will try to get rid of some of its excess heat. And often they'll move from the shade trees back to feeding trees at night time. We've been watching this fellow here for a couple of years now. His name's Beast, and we think he's one of the fittest, oldest boys that we've got. He's probably anywhere between 10 and 12 years of age. And he's been sitting in this tree watching a female, and she's not interested in him at the moment. She's screaming at him to go away, and then of course then he bellows in response to that. With the new collars that we're putting on these animals, we're going to be able to determine how long he waits and sits close to her. How long is he prepared to wait for that particular female? When he's chasing her, he uses up a lot of energy. So I've often seen the males just simply fall asleep when she's not interested. So my guess is he's fallen asleep in this tree and she's taken the opportunity to move to another tree to stay away from him. He's now woken up and noticed that she's over there. But he's certainly got very excited, and you don't see Beast move as fast as he just did then, so he's definitely interested in her.
Two, three, 2, 3, 3, 2, 2, and 1. We've been monitoring this blue gum community, Eucalyptus globulus, since about 2011. We wanted to see what effect the koalas had on this plant community as the koala population in the adjacent manna gum community expanded and then collapsed as they defoliated that community. So we've been monitoring the canopy cover. We're using what's called a hemispherical densitometer, and we're looking at 100 random points throughout this community to see how the cover has changed from 2011 until now. Just looking at it grossly, that's without measuring it, it looks like the canopy has opened up. There are some dead trees that appear to be partly defoliated. So it seems that the koala population may be having an effect. We're hopeful that eventually a stable population will become established here, and this plant community will be able to persist and not be eliminated by the koalas, as happened with the manna gum forests.
You've started planting some trees because there's some around here. So how many more trees are you going to plant?
This last year I had about 600 growing just in my backyard.
And you collected all those from seed?
Well, I didn't collect them. It was Earthwatchers who did that. Like having the time to come and collect seed
I don't have that myself, so it's a really good thing for Earthwatchers to do, and I know some of them find it very therapeutic just to know that all the seed they're gathering may end up replanting this whole area.
So did you bring some more down this trip?
Yeah, there's about 100 for you guys to plant.
Yay! And where are we going to plant those ones?
I think we can plant some more just out in this patch here.
Well, we're planting manigums to replace the ones that are being killed off by the koalas.
The more trees we can plant, the better their chances are, I think, because they are just destroying their own ecosystem. So hopefully we can help them with that and ensure their survival. That's the one from last year?
May last year I planted.
Oh my God.
Really well. So it's obviously an old spot.
I mean, I'm not much of a gardener, never have been, but this is really opening my eyes to understanding how this little bit that we're doing can help an entire ecosystem. So it's pretty incredible.
It is something that engages people. I know personally I feel really good about planting a tree. It's the future.
Absolutely.
It's the future of this area and, you know, food for koalas 10 years' time.
All right, there you go, little guy. Grow well.
It's so amazing to see them turned on, and some of those people are just serial Earthwatchers.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, every year they go on a different trip.
I think this is about my, I don't know, 15th, 16th, 17th Earthwatch expedition. Everyone's different, totally different. This is the first time I've planted trees.
They work us to death, and it's well worth it so that they can get a lot of their job done, because without us, you know, she'd be out here planting those trees all by herself. You know, it's not all just beakers and a lab. You know, there's a lot of scientists that, like Desley here, that are hands-on out in the field. I'm amazed that they even get any work done. I mean, it's time-consuming. It's a lot of busy work. There's so many technical issues involved. So I think scientists are pretty awesome, more awesome than I was aware of before.
But if you remember from way back on day one, when we did talk about our expectations, and I said that mine was basically to ensure that you guys all have a really good time and that you learn something and come away from here with a bit more knowledge about not just koalas but about the environment. And I hope we have achieved that. Thumbs up.
Absolutely.
I feel like we've achieved that.
You know, when you go on an Earthwatch trip, you're the house grunt and you do all the stuff that has to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I expected to do. And I always expect to have a good time doing it, and I did.
It was a very new experience. A lot of leg muscles are involved. I would happily do it again.
But when I go on trips, I have in mind, I need to see this bird or this animal, you know, this moose here or that elk. So seeing a koala, I got my koala. Oh, baby koala, you know.
その研究の手伝いをしながらこう変動を感じることができるっていうのはこのアースウォッチの調査に来てすごく良かったなと思いました。
You know, it's fun doing all this. You're working and you're learning and you're doing some good.
It's a lot of community too, and it's like you become a little family.
What's really important about these trips, apart from meeting all you guys, is that your investment in us actually makes a contribution. You're actually participating in real science.
Our first number is 381.
And we've got data that actually means something. And each field trip adds another bit on the graphs and in the analyses and the like. So I want to thank you guys for that.
Desley and Alistair are broadly optimistic about the future of these koalas, but there are no guarantees. Unless we can keep collecting the data, monitoring the habitat, but most importantly, communicating the findings, then this charismatic animal could be in real danger. And that's what's so inspiring about working alongside citizen scientists. We share our knowledge with them and they share their experiences with others.